Students and friends, welcome to this class. Of course, I'm so friendly and I would like most of us to understand this lesson. Today we are going to learn about adjoints. An adjoint, this is now we want to get how can we get an adjoint of a matrix. And for me here, I've tried to make you people also remember that although it is not the first step in getting the adjoint, but it is also important that you also understand how to get the determinant. I've simplified this one. I really enjoy getting the determinants because it is simpler. You see how I've done it? I've shielded, and secured this. Again, shielded and shielded again. I secured this. Of course, the signs, I maintained them. And again shielded this one and secured that. So as you can see, this is how the determinant is. And though it is not the first step when getting the adjoint, the first step is here. So remember, it is also good to practice. And here I've got the adjoint. The first step, we normally get the cofactors. So for you to get the cofactors, of course I've duplicated here the matrix in order to give more directions as I'll be doing. With me here, I've placed my signs. Remember, I talked about them. Here we are trying to get the adjoint. So with me here, I've managed to get the cofactor. So for you to get the cofactor, we normally get the determinants of the minor or the 2 by 2 matrix in the matrix, that is. So what we do normally, we shield this. Of course, for the first, this matrix here, the 2 by 2 matrix, I've shielded the first row and the first column to obtain the matrix. Exactly here it is. And remembered my sign. I moved on to place my negative sign. I shielded this one and now shielded the second column. When you shield this one and shield the second column, you'll obtain 1, 2, 3 and negative 7. Here it is. Again, when you move on, we place our positive sign as per to the theory I talked about in the previous lesson. We moved on to shield this one and this one. When you shield them, you are going to have 1, negative 1, 3 and 5. Here it is. We move on again. Now we move down to the second row. We now focus on the second row. When you are focusing on the second row, we now use again the same criteria. But now we are going now to close to shield this first column and the second row. When you shield that, you're going to have 1, 1, 5, negative 7. Exactly, here it is. Remember, this negative sign now begins. Again, we move on to get now the second matrix in the second column, in second row I mean. We shield the second column and the second row. We are going to obtain 1, 1, 3 and negative 7. Here it is. We move on to place our negative sign again. Now we shield again this row and this column. We are going to have our 1, 1, 3, 5. Here they are. We move on again to shield now the last row. Of course, this is the last step. We shield the last row and the first column. After doing so, we are going to have 1, 1, negative 1, 2. Here they are. We move on. We place our negative sign. Remember, this sign is just a theory that a student has to understand. This sign that I'm placing in. So when you shield now, that is the second column and the last row. You're going to have 1, 1, 1, 2. Here it is. You place a positive sign. You move on. You shield the last row again and the first column, the last column I mean. When you do so, you're going to have 1, 1, 1, negative 1. Here they are. So when you do this, and now when you are going to see, when you are going to now get now the determinants, when you're going now to get the determinants of the matrices, that is here it is. You'll find that it will lead to now getting it in a simpler way. So of course, at this particular point, we're going to have, when you have, that is, of course, here, as you can see, we had negative 1 times negative 7, 7, that is minus 10. Here it is exactly, 7 minus 10. We also had, that is 1 times negative 7, negative 7. We had with this one, here it is. So that is it. And it goes that way. The same thing we did also for this one. You can see this, the second second element in the second row. So here it is 1 times negative 7, that is minus 1 times 3, that is means negative 7 minus 3. Here it is exactly. So we are doing that in order to get now these determinants, and of course of the minor matrix we've been talking about. So from there, we now, what we've got, it is now what we refer to as the cofactor. This is now the cofactor of the matrix. So with this cofactor, we are moving on now to get now the, of course, here, why is it, it is 13 instead of negative. This negative 7, negative 6, that is 12, that 13 I mean. We've got this negative, it cancels everything, it becomes 13. And that is what we do. So here you ensure that you consider the signs when doing the multiplication, and also ensuring that you subtract it to get the better answer. So here we are having 5 minus 3, of course it is 2, but this negative when you multiply it affects, that's negative 2. The same applies here, negative 1, negative 1, 1. So when we have this negative 1, that is it. Then negative, then we have 2 and negative 1, negative 1. That it means when you have negative 1, we are going to have 2. So when you place this, you have negative 2 in a simple way. And that is it. At this point, 2 times 2 minus 1, I mean, that is negative 1 when we multiply by this. And that is it, my students. So friends of mine, it is easy. So now the last statement, or the last state, or the last thing we want to get is the adjoint. The adjoint is the transpose of the cofactor. Now here I'm trying to give out 3 concepts. I've told you how to get the cofactor. So this one here is the cofactors, the cofactor of the matrix. Here it is, and you just follow the same route up there, exempting the getting the determinant, and then you get this, the cofactor of a matrix. And now you can be asked to get the transpose. For you to get the transpose, it is just the same thing by asking you to get the adjoint, because adjoint is the transpose of the cofactor. So transpose and adjoint mean the same thing. So what you need to do is just to interchange. First of all, you write the elements in the major diagonal. Unaziandika tu the way they are. Here they are. You write them. Then from there, you move on to get now, we are having 13, 12. So you interchange them. Of course, previously we had here 13 and here we had 12. So it becomes 12, 13. Again, here we are having 3, 8. Of course, we interchanged, And here again, we had negative 1, negative 2. Of course, we interchanged, and that is it. So enjoy yourself, enjoy your day, ensure you subscribe for more lessons.